Hello guys, my name is Coexist, and today we've got the Linux Mint Sonya overview. So let us just get right over here. Here are the new features in Linux Mint 18.2 Cinnamon. As we should know, the Linux Mint 18.2 is a long-term support release which will be supported until 2021. It comes with updated software and brings refinements and many new features to make your desktop experience more comfortable to use. And we'll get into, I'll show you some of the things that they actually introduced here in a bit. So, Cinnamon 3.4 is one of the things coming along, and one of the most notable improvements in this is the handling of desktop icons. You can now automatically align them to a grid in either lines or columns. They can also automatically be sorted in various ways via their name, their size, by the file type, or by the modified date. You can also change desktop icon sizes with a click of the button, they say, and desktop icons are now handled in their own separate process, which isn't tied to other Nemo windows. The various plugins of the settings daemon now also run in their own separate processes and are independent of each other. It is therefore now much easier to identify which plugin might be responsible for high memory CPU usage, and when a plugin crashes, it no longer affects the rest of the Cinnamon backend. So that last one there is just saying if you have an extension and it goes wonky, it's not going to mess with Cinnamon itself if it does crash, or if there's high CPU usage, you might be able to find out, or it's easier, I should rather say, to find out which plugin is actually causing that issue. And also it notes here, to provide better performance to the Cinnamon desktop, the CJS JavaScript Interpreter was rebased and now runs on MOZJS 38. Here we'll talk about Cinnamon Spices. You can add themes, applets, desklets, and extensions to your Cinnamon desktop. These add-ons are known as spices, and they are maintained by third-party artists and third-party developers. And here is their Cinnamon website. Here this was actually rewritten from scratch. So let's go right over here. This is their official add-ons repository. So you can actually go through and find, here are their themes. Here's their applets that they have. I might as well just click down here. You've got some desklets you can use, and extensions they also have. However, you do have to note that they have to be compatible for whatever version of Cinnamon you're actually running. Let's get right back over here. They say that the goal wasn't only to make it look better. Their previous web page was kind of over the place. It depends on who you were as far as that went. It was also part of a huge product to make spices more secure than before and to guarantee better quality and better compatibility with the Cinnamon desktop. The site also supports OAuth authentication with Google, Facebook, and GitHub to let visitors comment and like their favorite spices and rate them. As a consequence, it no longer stores passwords. The maintenance of the spices themselves was moved to GitHub, and every single change is now reviewed by the Linux Mint team to guarantee spices cannot be used for malicious purposes. The development workflow was changed to allow anyone to provide bug fixes and translations to Cinnamon spices. So if you are able to fix a bug in an app, or rather in a extension, then by all means you could use GitHub and publish that. It also notes that along with the spices authors, the Linux Mint team is now directly involved with the maintenance of all Cinnamon spices. Many spices were removed, many were fixed, and many were updated, and the team is now able to add support to spices not only for current versions of Cinnamon, but even for upcoming ones. Overall, this is a huge improvement for Cinnamon just because the quality of spices has an impact on how the desktop is perceived, and they say that they're getting closer and closer to a situation where everything just works. Another thing that's changed is Blueberry. They say that the Bluetooth support is much improved in Linux Mint 18.2. They also changed up what it looks like. This is the new user interface here. And there's also a stack switcher was added in the toolbar, and some new settings were also added to the application. Down here you'll also notice that OBEX support is built in now, so that file transfers are now supported out of the box. So you can send files very easily over Bluetooth to your computer from any remote device. So if you wanted to send a picture or file from your phone to your computer, you can do that without having to plug it in. Another option was also added to make it easier to change your Bluetooth name of your computer. Not only that, but in addition to its cross-desktop system tray, Blueberry now provides a Cinnamon applet which uses symbolic icons and looks similar to other status applets, such as the power, sound, or network applets. When this applet is present, the tray icon is automatically hidden. Here's Zed, the default text editor for this distribution. It says the user interface features really exciting visual improvements. For instance, it comes with a smart side and bottom bars which automatically adjust to the loaded content and which you can hide or show with the click of a button. You can also now select if you want to use the dark theme or light theme of this application. So if you're using something like the Mint White Darker, for instance, which is what I use, you can select whether your text editor should be light or dark. Word wrap is also more accessible and added to the menu instead of having to go to the preferences. And you can also select a few lines and sort them by pressing F10. You can also zoom in and out with the menu, keyboard shortcuts, or even the mouse wheel to modify the size of the text. Also says that the search now supports regular expressions, and you can switch between tabs with the mouse wheel. So if we move over here, and let's go over here to Zed. Here is what it will look like most of the time, but you can, in fact, open up your sidebar here, and this is actually a pretty good way to look at files you could open. So let's just make this a little bigger here. So let's go up a few to my documents, and let's open this guy here. This is one of my installers for SoftEther VPN. And as you can see, it's laid out pretty nicely. We can you can see that this is word wrapped here. If you wanted to, say, not have that word wrap on, you go to View and turn off word wrap, and now it's just one line. However, in the end, this doesn't have any effect on the actual output. There's not a space here. It's just wrapped around. So no worries when it comes to writing scripts or anything of that nature. So that's that. Let's go back over here. XPlayer, which is a default media player, also received some improvements to its user interface. All the controls and secret bar were placed on the same line down here at the bottom, and the status bar was removed to make it look more compact, and it just flows better with all the other applications. You can also now control the playback speed with the same keyboard shortcuts as an MPV, so you can make your own slow motion replays or watch lengthy matches in about half the time it would take. Subtitle files are now loaded automatically, but subtitles are also now hidden by default. You can turn these on or off, or cycle through subtitle tracks by pressing S on the keyboard. You can also cycle through audio or language tracks by pressing L on the keyboard. The OSD was fixed and now shows the audio track or subtitle track or playback speed you selected, or your position in the movie when seeking forward or backward. That's going to be this at the bottom. Also says that many bugs were fixed, and just like Zed, you have the ability to prefer the darker theme should you want to use it. Pix is also the picture manager-ish thing for Linux Mint. They say it's now much easier to navigate around. Keyboard and mouse shortcuts were reviewed and largely improved. They are more intuitive and more consistent with other applications such as XViewer. And it also says that they took much attention into the user interface to make it flow together. Also says that toolbar and menu icons were switched to symbolic to improve support for dark themes, so your icons won't go all weird. XReader, which is the default PDF and document viewer, also received many bug fixes and improvements. The toolbars and sidebars were redesigned to make the application look cleaner. Also says the application also supports dark themes because it did not before, and has the same symbolic icons, so that way everything flows together. Also, for you using touchscreens on your computer, it says touchscreen support was added. You can swipe your finger across the document to browse through its pages, or pinch to zoom in and out. And then here's XViewer. Just like XReader and Pix, its toolbar was also redesigned, and it receives support for dark themes. One of the more major things here is the update manager. This is a larger change. The Update Manager received many improvements. It still has the same mission and tackles the same issues as before, but it presents them slightly differently. So policies and level definitions were refined to better filter updates depending on their level of impact on the operating system and without worrying about their origin. Most updates are now level 2. Application updates which do not impact the OS at all are level 1. Toolkits and desktop environments or libraries which affect multiple applications are level 3. Kernels and sensitive system updates are level 4. So if you have level 1 or 2 updates, those are perfectly fine. You can most likely install those and have absolutely no issues. Those should work 99.99% of the time. Level 3 and level 4 are a bit more sensitive, so you can generally still install these with no problem, but you might want to do these one by one or make sure that you actually restart your computer, especially after a kernel update. You're not required to restart your computer or Linux system when you do a kernel upgrade, but whenever you change your kernel, it's best to reboot, because if you have any applications that need to recognize any devices or something. I had an issue where I updated my kernel and forgot about it, tried to use my microphone, and it just would not work until I rebooted the system and it noticed it. So again, if you have anything on level 4, you're going to want to reboot anyway. But that's I'm getting off topic here. Level 5 is extremely rare and is not used by default. This level is indicated to flagging dangerous or broken updates. So you shouldn't even see level 5 updates because they're broken, so just ignore those. Also says the Update Manager insists on staging and reviewing updates depending on their level. The notions of security, bug fixes, backports, updates, and software regressions are central, and these core concepts are better explained. A large help section now ships with the Update Manager and goes much more in details than before. So if you have anything you want to know about this, you can just go here and hopefully it'll be much better explained. It also says a lot more information was added on kernels. This help section now features explanations on how kernels are installed, how to summon the grub menu, how to check the DKIMS status, and how to prevent how to revert to a previous kernel should something break. Also says support was added for Ubuntu HWE kernels and kernel updates, and the kernel section window was improved. Also says down here that advanced Linux users can now automate updates by writing scripts, routines, or cron jobs thanks to a new CLI called MintUpdate-Tool. This tool supports all the features available in the UI, including level selection, security updates, kernel updates, and blacklisting. You can use MintUpdate-Tool both to list and apply updates in the CLI. Software sources have also been changed a little bit. Foreign packages or packages which are not provided by any repository or which versions differ from the one provided in the repositories. So to make it easier to remove or downgrade these types of packages, a new select all buttons were added in appropriate places with the software sources configuration tool. Also, one of the most major things is LightDM. Instead of using the older instead of using MDM, which was the Mint Display Manager is what they called it, it's now using LightDM, which a lot of other Ubuntu-based, or actually a lot of Linux distributions in general, actually use. So it uses the LightDM Display Manager by default, along with the Slick Greeter and the LightDM Settings Configuration tool. It also supports HIDPI and provides the computer with a beautiful login screen such as this. You can also configure it so you can have it draw a grid like it would in Ubuntu, etc., etc. Now, to show you this, I've actually took a picture of a login in VirtualBox. This is what it looks like. Excuse me. This is what it looks like. It's pretty much like Linux, or I'm sorry, of course it's like Linux. It's like the vanilla Ubuntu with a login, and here you're able to select what desktop you want to go into, your password, and you have your indicators up here, etc., etc. But that's one of the main things that have changed, and it also fixes a couple of issues in that area. So let's go on. Also says that LightDM provides excellent support for an NVIDIA Prime and multiple monitors. and a smooth integration with various components used during the boot and shutdown sequences. So a lot of the times, what I had issues with was when I was using this, or older versions of Linux Mint. I have multiple monitors, and it's on a laptop as well. So something really weird would happen is when using MDM, it would duplicate the displays on the login screen, and it would show at the same resolution that my laptop screen was on this big 1080p monitor. So it would like stretch it out and make it really ugly, and it would just look really bad. And I could not for the life of me figure out how to change that. That was just a thing in MDM, and I just kind of ignored it. So yeah. But with LightDM being the manager for all that, it doesn't do that anymore, so it will display at the correct resolution, and it doesn't look terrible. Now, if you have a weird monitor setup, things still might not go in the correct direction. Like, my monitors are set up, my big monitor is directly in front of me, then my laptop is set off to the side, ironically. So when using this, I couldn't take my mouse and drag it from the left screen to the right screen. I'd actually have to do it backwards. I'd have to move my mouse from my main monitor to the left, which there is no monitor on my left, and it would put it on and then my cursor would loop around to the monitor on my right. Kind of weird, but I don't really bother with it. It's not that big of a deal, because all I need to do is type in my password anyway. So no biggie there. Other than that, there's also some system improvements. Brasario is still available in the repositories, but it's no longer installed by default. I haven't used Brasario in a long time. The last time I used Brasario was for image writing, and like that was a couple of years ago, to be honest. I haven't written a Linux ISO to like a physical disk in a very long time. Also says the root account is now locked by default. You can use sudo with your own password to become root with sudo-i. apt also supports the mark auto and mark manual commands to mark packages as being installed respectively, automatically or manually. Also says that this release ships with the Linux firmware 1.157.10 and the Linux kernel 4.8.0-53. And of course, I think I've actually already updated mine from that to something else. There's also some artwork improvements. They've got a superb collection of backgrounds from these artists, or these photographers rather. Definitely check them out if you like their artwork. I do, or photography rather. Doesn't really matter. I really like this one here. So if we go over here and change some desktop settings, let's just look at some of the. That's not what I wanted. Let's go back. I think it's under themes or backgrounds. I'm getting lost. I like this one by Ashim, but they've got some really nice backgrounds here, and I won't bother with forcing you guys to look at me select them. So, but they've got some really nice backgrounds, and they're high quality, and they look great on this 1080p monitor. Let's see. What is the actually, you know what, the default one I do believe is this right here, which, you know, I have no problem with that, but frankly, you know, I love to rep Linux Mint, but I need a little bit more color in my life. I really love Canyon. I cannot tell you how much I love Canyon, but we've also got Drop. That is a really nice one. I like that one there. Waterfall. That's high. Oh, that's nice right there too. You can actually see these people. You've got Snow. It's just really nice scenery. Oh, that's also nice. I might keep it there for a minute. Let's keep it there for a bit. Looks nice. And I think that's actually pretty much it, except for them saying the main components. It has Cinnamon 3.4, Linux, the Linux kernel on 4.8, and Ubuntu 16.04 package base. Also, here's their strategy for LTS releases. So this release will receive security updates until 2021 when it officially releases. I do believe it's still in beta. Until 2018, future versions of Linux Mint will use the same package base as Linux Mint 18, making it trivial for people to upgrade. And until 2018, the development team won't start working on a new base and will be fully focused on the one that we're currently on. So we can expect nothing but great things from that. Now, with all that stuff pushed aside, let's actually look at the desktop in and of itself. So this is not actually how it looks out of the box. I probably should have been on a different user account to kind of show you what it would look like, but it's not too difficult to just show you. So let's just go back to our themes and let's just put everything back at normal so we get a good idea on what everything looks like. I believe it's just Mint X. There it is. Getting lost. Can't see things. And cinnamon. Where's it? There we go. Okay, so this is what it would look like out of the box. Which there's completely no problem with that. I do like Linux Mint, and I have always loved the Cinnamon desktop. It's nifty, it's nice. I also love the menu. It's a great menu. But of course I had to change up some themes. You can also install themes just as you would any other desktop, I suppose is the correct word to use. But I prefer to use Mint Y. I'm sorry, I'm a Mint Y person. Love the flat icons. I have paper installed for that. There we go. Change that to darker. Change this to paper. And also, I got this new Minty theme from here. We can add more desktop themes. I really enjoy Minty. So that is the desktop. Very great desktop. And as you can see, I'm recording with OBS. I got it working this time, so that's great. That is just great. Workspace switching is still great as ever. Easily accessed with Control Alt and of course your arrow keys. Let's come out of full screen here. There's also some other things I've actually recently found out that I just couldn't be bothered to find out before. If you press up, Control Alt up, you actually get an overview of all of your desktops, and if you press Control Alt down, you get a kind of like an expose mode on Ubuntu GNOME, whatever. I cannot be bothered anymore with that. And you can also manage your applications, and if you want them closed, you can just hit the X. Quite simple. Escape to exit that. Let's see. I haven't had any issues with it yet. There are a couple of things that you might experience. Since this icon management is quite new, you might see some glitches every now and then. But to fix them, you just go down here to desktop. So if your icons ever start doing anything weird, just turn them off and then back on. And that should fix any problems you have. But let's go ahead and show you the new options for those as well. So if you right click on your desktop, you can go, there's another option here at desktop. You can auto arrange these. So every time something is added or moved, they will be automatically arranged. You can also align the grid. Now if you have this ticked, it will automatically align the grid, but if you turn that off, you can now move them anywhere, like on Mac. And you can just get as messy as you could possibly want. You can almost, you can overlap them. I don't know. Whoop, don't want to throw that in the trash. Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can. Some people like to stick stuff on their desktop, but the desktop is your home, you know, for a lot of people. So I completely understand that. I'm going to go ahead and put mine back on the grid. And you can also change it to horizontal, a horizontal grid, instead of really vertical. So if I wanted to do desktop auto arrange, now they're horizontally arranged rather than, you know, vertically, which I would do vertical, to be honest. But if you want to take off, again, you can take off the auto arrange, and if you wanted your trash to stay over here in this corner, bam, there's your trash in that corner. Also, if you want a new folder, you can hit Control-Shift-N on the keyboard on your desktop, create a new folder. So let's call this projects, and I want this over here. Yeah, I want it right there. I have noticed it's a little laggy. You see, it doesn't always pick up the movement, but there it goes. And then projects is now over here. Open that up, operates it just as a normal folder, as we should expect. I guess I might as well show you guys some numbers. I as far as the system resources go. So let's look over here. Now I will tell you that your RAM will actually be a lot less on your system than what mine is. As you can see down here, I've got quite a few things running. I've got OBS running, I've got Discord running, I've got the Pack Manager running, and of course AnyDesk. So there's quite a few things running. But when I first started, or when I first installed 18.2, it hovered around 1 gig, and that's not too bad. Most modern systems have a decent amount of memory. Even if, I don't know if I would recommend these types of desktops if you only have 4 gigs of RAM. Definitely wouldn't if you only have 2, because if you're running these applications like I am, you're already maxing out your memory. CPU usage is actually much lower, but of course I'm using OBS to record, which is software, so it's taking a little hit on that. I plan to get a capture card soon. That way my memory and CPU usage is nowhere near as high, and I can actually give you decent numbers as to what might happen there. So anyways, that is my overview of the Cinnamon desktop and Linux Mint Sonya 18.2. I'll probably do I want to say like a customization type thing. I've had some people ask me like, hey, your desktop looks cool, how do you know, how did you do that, or how did you get that theme? And some people don't know about the Mint Y themes, and that they're flat, and the UIs are just more modern. I prefer modern UIs, so that's a big plus for me. Anyways, if you liked this, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, you already know what to do. If you use Linux Mint Sonya 18.2, go ahead and leave me a comment down below. Tell me your experience. If you have any bugs that you've noticed, or any glitches or issues you have, put them down there as well. If you don't like the Cinnamon desktop or Linux Mint, let me know in the comments below. We'll look at it. I think that's going to conclude it for this video, so until next time.